The opposition, we wish to make it unequivocally clear, while our role is to provide constructive criticism and to work collaboratively for the betterment of our nation, we cannot and will not stand by idly as the Constitution, the cornerstone of our democracy, is flouted. Our commitment to democracy and our commitment to democracy demands that we hold those in power accountable, ensuring that the rule of law is not only respected but upheld. We hereby call upon the President to adhere to the Supreme Court's directives, to immediately retract these unwarranted actions, and to ensure that any changes in government positions are conducted within the legal framework that governs us all. Failure to do so not only disrespects the judicial branch of our government, but also signals a dangerous departure from democratic norms. Let it therefore be known, our resolve to challenge these actions, both legally and politically, is unwavering. The respect for the rule of law is not optional. It is the bedrock upon which our society stands. Any attempt to undermine this foundation will be met with full force of our commitment to democracy and justice. We stand together, united, in our dedication to the principles of fairness, legality, and democratic governance. We urge the President to reconsider his course, to respect the rulings of our courts, and to act in the best interest of all citizens, ensuring that our democracy remains strong and unassailable. We also stand in firm condemnation of the recent and alarming events in King George, Cape Mount County, where the unnecessary use of force by the police resulted in the loss of innocent lives. The incident is not isolated, but indicative of a disturbing pattern of government excess and a blatant disregard for the rule of law. We stand in solidarity with the victims and their families and call upon the international community, human rights organizations, and stakeholders to join us in demanding justice and accountability. The time for action is now. We must not allow these abuses to continue unchecked. We thank you, fellow citizens in Radio Land and members of the press and my fellow members in the struggle.
Thank you. At this point, we
So that was the Forest House movement
from the media.
progressive change political leader.
If you have questions, you
Simeon
call your
Freeman.
name, the institution you represent, and then you flow with your question.
I'm Juto Nukori, I come from Pram FM. Honorable Freeman, your press conference with President Boakai's 100 days day rules. Mr. Freeman, how can you describe the 100 day rules by the president? What will the rules next?
Well, the 100 days deliverable, no car will be stuck in the mud. That has not been met. And many other promises were made that has not been met. The government itself doesn't seem to even be completed. The budget has not been passed. Too many things have not been done. And we're not sure what compelled those promises. but we can clearly see that the government has not even indicated what its economic policies are for those in the private sector or those in Liberia to even determine a path forward. So we couldn't say that it's been met, and we wouldn't say it's been met. We will clearly say that they have not met their deliverables.
And from our perspective, we have to get together, and we will do that very shortly to respond to the President's message. Some of the actions by the President's office regarding tenure presence and the excesses of the police, if you will. We will respond as an opposition to the President's speech on the deliverables in the coming days.
Okay, my name is Young Tito, a report for OKFM. Well, it was reported in the news on yesterday that a case started with the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, wherein those who were being suspended by the president went back to the court praying for a real approval on a bill of information, but then that was being denied in the process. So it means that the action taken by the president, a lot of people have said that it will take effect by the fact that those have that sent to the LTA has already been suspended. Is this something that you want the president to do away with?
Clearly, we are not privy to the content of the bill of information. So we think when we see that bill of information and we engage with the commissioners at the LTA, they could be in their rights, but the court operate based on facts, and whatever steps they took, we're not privy to that. Once we have additional information, we will then come back to you as a team.
Okay. Mr. Freeman, when you say the decision by the president on tenure quotas is contrary to the laws of Liberia, the president since welcomed the ruling from the Supreme Court, the initial ruling from the Supreme Court. He welcomed that, and he said, in fact, that ruling is in line or aligns with his arrest agenda, the rule of law. So, are you telling us that the action of the president contradicts what he says?
Have you seen a copy of the letter written to the LTA commissioners? In that letter, he claims that the report submitted to him, which we're not privy to, there are indications of financial malpractices. Again, it's only an observation and an opinion. On that note, the president can authorize an audit by the GAC. Findings from the GAC then could lead to his actions. But instead, he suspended them and saying, well, even though I have these observations, but go to the GAC, report yourself, and be audited. That's not how our law works. It does not find you guilty until you prove it. So the GAC report, though an opinion, would have been the basis upon which the president's action could sit and say we suspend you until you audited. But as it is based on whatever the content of the document submitted to him, somebody has formed that opinion which is not audited, and now he's saying go to the GAC and be audited. So clearly it does not create the basis. That's what we're saying. So they're being found guilty and punished before they can even be audited.
All right. My name is Lincoln Peters, Mr. Freeman. I work for the New Dawn newspaper. I've been following you for the past time during the administration of former President George Weah. We did not see you collaborating jointly to come up with a press statement. Today we are seeing you with the ANC. It is that a sense of collaboration is coming together within the new opposition, or?
Oh yeah. See it from that perspective. Don't forget there was a CPP framework.
I'm on.
And there was the CDC framework. And at that time, it didn't appear that there was an opening. But don't forget, you were gathered here and that CPP framework was disbanded.
Of course.
So now it opens up a corridor. Since we are a track opposition, now we're talking and it creates a basis for us to collaborate. So this is a good thing that you need to encourage.
Are we trying to give birth to a legal instrument that will guard the
That's
opposition?
what I'm saying. We are attracted to each other. So that attraction could lead to marriage, it could lead to anything. But the good news is we are attracted. I'm here, you're speaking from here. Another day they could speak from our place. We are attracted to each other.
Mr. Freeman,
Last question.
my name is William Howard, and I work for Cool 91.9 FM in Painesville. I'm concerned the fact that you are a businessman. Recently, the government, according to them, dropped charges on petroleum and rice, among others. In your mind, in your view, how do you see the business environment of this country? Is it moving forward? Is it static? Is it making progress or not?
So let me help you. You know, many times, because we are in the digital age, there is Facebook, there is TikTok, there is YouTube, we got multiple radio stations. Sometimes people are confused. But if a man is making progress, it's not measured by how big his stomach is. It's measured by how much money he has in his bank account, whether he's being able to acquire real property, is his children going to school, has he been able to make some real measurable changes in his life? The question is, how many jobs have been created? What structure have been put in place to create any job? Have we even passed the budget? Even if the budget were passed, what sector is going to be fully developed as a result of the passing of that budget? So don't listen to what they tell you, listen to what you see in terms of what you can measure. But just for your information, that budget, even when passed, almost 95% of what is collected in that budget from the domestic economy is going to be spent on the government itself. So does that in any way show that there's going to be any kind of progress? No. So I know there is multiplicity of information on the airwaves. I know people are saying different things. It depends on the lineage of that journalist. But look at the key issues. How many jobs will be created in the coming days or in the coming month? What opportunities are there? What kind of investments are being created? What value addition are being created? Are we still input dependent? Look at those things and answer that question. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. This is how we come to the closure of this press conference.
Thank you for following. Kindly share, like, and drop your comment.